So this is how to play Monopoly in the real world. You're going to learn how to own your own Monopoly board and what properties are valuable and what properties are not, and the 5 lessons in investing and finance that you can learn from Monopoly. You're going to find out from a real estate investor the strategies that I use to maintain liquidity and ensure that I don't have a cash flow problem. You're going to learn what assets or properties are the best to buy and which ones you should avoid. And I'm going to tell you a personal story of where I make the most money in terms of investing and why I always invest there and what type of property that is. If you've ever played the game of Monopoly as a kid or as an adult, you know that there's a lot of financial lessons in Monopoly that a lot of people need in their life. And one of those biggest lessons is to keep cash on hand. In real estate investing, you want to keep cash on hand. You want to have reserves. Why? Because there's always things that are going to come up that you may need a little cash for. And as our friend Susie Orman says, having cash in the bank lets you sleep at night. So you don't want to get over leveraged, all right? I've been there, I've been over leveraged. It's very stressful, you can't sleep at night. So having that cash cushion is important. Playing Monopoly shows you the importance of maintaining cash because you may land on a property or come across a deal, and if you have the cash, you could buy that property and profit from ownership of that property. If you land on a property and you owe rent and you don't have the money, you may have to give up one of your properties or sell one of your properties in order to pay the rent. So it's important to keep liquidity on hand in real estate. I recommend that if your monthly outgo for your property is say $3,000 a month, keep reserves of about 10. Now, some of you starting out may not have that. I understand that. Try to maintain your maintenance as low as possible, but take care of the property and start building those cash reserves. Don't spend the money, okay? I try to keep at least 3, 4, 5, 6 months of reserves in my accounts so that I have excess cash if I need it, should I need something for the property, or if a deal comes along, I'll have cash there to buy it. You'll see that when you don't have cash, you have to sell off good assets in order to pay your bills or to take care of things, and that creates a spiral effect, okay? And if the economy changes and a bunch of people are selling assets, your assets are going to be down in value, and you're going to have to sell them at an inopportune time and get less money for them, and pretty soon you're just unwinding all your wealth. So keep your cash on hand. The next big lesson of Monopoly is have patience and look to buy the right property. You know, as an investor, sometimes you want to buy everything looks good. Be selective, okay? Some people I know, they buy one property every few years. I buy one every couple months, sometimes a couple times in a week. Because I see deals, I buy them. Sometimes I'll do a lot of buying at once, then I won't do any buying for a long time. I went for 5, 6 years, didn't buy anything. You're going to have periods where you want to buy, periods where you don't want to buy, but be selective and be patient in your buying. Look for a good deal. Don't buy every deal. On the flip side of that, don't not buy every deal. Don't get into paralysis by analysis. You'll never own anything. And then you'll find the market's moved up over time. And you're like, I should have bought that, could have bought that, should have bought it, could have, would have, should have. And I didn't, that I would have made, but you didn't make because you never bought. Okay? So don't be afraid to buy. Go out and buy. I buy all the time. But also be selective. You know, pick a couple things, have a game plan, know what you're going to do, what you're going to buy, and stick with that. Now, when I'm buying, I'm looking at cash flow and I'm looking at value, okay? I look at the price per square foot. Is it low compared to other units? Because I'm a value add guy. Or I'm looking at units that are lower than other units, or they have potential for rent increases. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. So when I'm buying real estate, I'm really trying to find value because I'm a value add guy, and buying property that is below market or that has the potential to go up in market, or markets that have a strong job base or people moving in, I try to focus on those. So just like Monopoly, you want to focus on picking those properties that are going to give you a good return on investment, good cash flow, and good upside. And guess what? Those always aren't the most expensive, pretty properties, okay? And I'm going to tell you, it's not big high-end stuff. I'm going to tell you as soon as you subscribe. So go ahead and subscribe right now so we can continue to engage here. The properties that I like to buy are workforce housing. The reason I like workforce housing is because everybody needs a place to live. okay? And that goes into the next phase, which is the most expensive property isn't always the best property. You know, the return on investment in Monopoly for a street like Tennessee Street or Baltic is property's cheaper and the rents are a little lower, but the return on investment might be better than a place like Broadway or Park Place in Monopoly. So you want to focus on what gives you the best return on investment when you buy real estate. Just like in Monopoly, in real life, you want to get properties that bring in cash flow. Now, how do you get properties that get in cash flow? Don't forget to watch my video on 1031s where I talk about how to trade into properties and build your portfolio and your wealth. And that leads us to another big point of Monopoly, which is don't put all your money into one type of property or one area. If you're going to focus on residential or multifamily or commercial, focus on that and learn that well. But don't spread yourself too thin. Don't put yourself in a position where you're in multiple states and you're all spread out. I like to be in one particular area, but I don't want all my money in one property. I don't want all my money in this one asset. So if something happens, I'm in trouble, right? I want multiple sources of income, okay? Many properties generating revenue. That's why a lot of people go from houses to apartment buildings, just like Monopoly or hotels. I own a couple of those too. You get into hotels and you have multiple people paying you money every month. If you get into multifamily, maybe you got 12, 20, 50, 100 people, whatever the size of your portfolio and your financial ability, paying you rent every month. Okay? And you can reach that point if you're diligent and you play the game and you have a plan to where you have so many people paying you money that your wealth is just hard to screw up. Okay? You start building this cash flow and you have what Grant Cardone calls indestructible wealth. I've heard him use that term. In other words, your money's coming in. There's so much of it coming in that even if you have a problem over here, a problem over there, you're able to handle it. During the pandemic, I had some tenants that weren't able to pay, but I had enough that were paying that I was able to weather that, okay? So if I only had one building and I had, most of the tenants not able to pay because they all worked at this one factory and that factory was having trouble, I'm going to have trouble. So don't put all your eggs in one area, one basket, as they say. Spread your wealth around. But on the flip side of that, I don't like being, especially with multifamily, I like to pick a couple areas that I'm going to invest in and stick with that area. Call it your farm or your area, just so you kind of know the market and you know what's going on. So my recommendation is that when you refinance your properties in real estate and you take cash out, use that money to keep in reserves or to buy other real estate or to hold until you find opportunities. Much like Monopoly, it's important that your money be on hand so when you can get an opportunity, you can buy it. They say that, success is often when preparation meets opportunity. The opportunity is a real estate investment that has good cash flow, that's below market value, that has potential upside. And the flip side of the preparation is having cash on hand and having reserves and being ready to go. Or having a property that you're ready to exchange so that you can trade that property through a 1031 exchange and get a bigger property with more residents who are paying you income, or if it's a commercial property or some other type of property. I'm going to talk about on the next video the different types of properties. Not everybody's in multifamily or residential. That's where I focus on. I've built and owned self-storage. I build homes now. I do a lot of different things. But my main source of focus is on residential value-add workforce housing. I think that's where the most stability in real estate is. Everybody needs a place to live. Businesses come and go versus, say, retail. I like that market, okay? And for most of your beginning investors, I would suggest that you stick with, buying condos, home, maybe even start with a mobile home and fix it up. I met one investor. She bought a mobile home for less than $500 in Idaho. She remodeled it using Home Depot and put it back on the market for $40,000, $50,000. So that's a place that some of you can start if you're really in the beginning, or if some of you are more advanced, obviously, you're looking at, I've got a 40-unit building or a 50-unit building, and I'm looking to trade that to get into a 100, 120-unit building. Why do people want these bigger buildings? Economies of scale, right? Like if you only got your maintenance people to go to this building over here, and this building over here, and this building over here, that's 3 buildings versus 20 homes. They got to run all over the place, right? So it's easier and it's more economically efficient to own apartment buildings where you only have to go to one spot. But again, I started out owning a bunch of single family homes all over the place and was running around dealing with that when I first started out. And that's paying the price. That's building your portfolio. And that's what it takes. Just like Monopoly, you get your first property, you get your second property, you finally get your fourplex, your duplexes, and then you just keep going from there. I started out with one condo, and now I own multi-millions of dollars of real estate. I had to start. You got to do the same. You got to start. Okay? It's all about starting. Paul McGuire here to help you. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video where we're going to talk about the different types of property that you may want to invest in and what investors do or do not look for in investing in those properties.